Sometimes you don't have to look for textbook media bias. Sometimes it finds you. This is one of those situations. I want you to take a look at how Tom Cotton is treated, as if him even saying that we should shut down these riots is somehow going to cause riots. A completely moronic narrative that has been built pretty clearly by the media and their Democrats. And then watch CNN interview Alex Padilla. And he's actually asked, hey, shouldn't you guys get more disruptive and crazy? This is the problem with the world in which we live in. If the American media were honest and called it down the middle, 50-50, Democrats would never win another election again. Never. They are propped up completely by the mainstream media, which does not care about reality or facts. They only care about pushing an agenda. And you can see it right here in how these two instances are handled. The Republican politician is grilled for his words. The Democrat politician is praised for his disruptive actions and then told to go further.
I also want to ask you about the enforcement to date. As you know, there has been outcry. We've seen protests across the country because of the enforcement policies. You wrote an op-ed supporting President Trump's decision to send in federalized National Guard troops and active duty Marines to California. You referred to it as the threat from the radical left, an overwhelming show of force to end the riots, and talked about communities being terrorized. Given the amount of tension in the country right now, is that really the language to use?
Yes, when you see left-wing street militias who are throwing bricks and frozen water bottles at police officers and shooting them with fireworks, and unfortunately you have mayors and governors in some places that won't allow police to maintain order, the next step is to call in the National Guard. And if the governor won't call in the National Guard, then the president has to federalize them. We always hope that the local police are allowed to do their job and have sufficient numbers to do their job to maintain order and protect innocent life and property. But if they can't or they're not allowed to, the National Guard has to be on scene to restore civil order.
LAPD says they were handling when things turned violent yesterday. They fired rubber bullets, but they said they had it under control.
The LA police chief said last weekend that his forces were overwhelmed and they couldn't manage the situation.
Senator Brian Schatz, he was defending your actions on the Senate floor. It was a pretty emotional speech. He said the way you were treated is something we see in dictatorships, that in a democracy you are allowed to be disrespectful and disruptive. I know you said that that was kind of an organic moment, but do you think more Democrats should be, in his words, disrespectful and disruptive?
I wasn't trying to be disrespectful or disruptive, and I don't think I was. I was simply asking a question. Just as the members of the press corps ask questions, members of the Congress, members of the Senate ask questions to do our job to hold the administration accountable.